Oilers Nation After Dark begins now.
Not quite the game we were expecting this evening. A putrid is the word I'm going to use. Effort from the Edmonton Oilers in the first 20 minutes. Awareness in the defensive end on zero in that first period. But the Oilers, like usual, down but never out. They claw their way back a little bit. They make it very interesting in the second period included, and then third period. The win streak ends at 4 games as these Edmonton Oilers lose 5-3 to the Pittsburgh Penguins down at PPG Paints Arena on Star Wars night, Liam. Nonetheless, you're a Star Wars guy. Had someone told me it was Star Wars night down in Pittsburgh this evening, there's no way I would have bet Oilers puck line. It's a shame. Shout out to the guy wearing the Stormtroopers helmet all game long in the crowd. But hello and welcome to Oilers Nation After Dark. I'm your host, Bordzy, and ONAD is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's check in with the chat. We'll start positively because we've got a super chat in here. Reminder, all of your super chat donations, they're going to a great cause. It's going to the Ben Stelter Foundation, cause near and dear to all of our hearts. And it's Tammy. She does it on wins. I guess she does it on losses too. She's the best. $20 says, well, that happened. That's pretty good. Hearts, stick taps for Ben always. Rusty's in. Says Davo with 3 apples. I think the second and third periods are what you build on. You can chuck that first period in the trash. Very true. Tammy, that first period. What the hell? K. Waddy says first January loss in 2 years. Wasted effort. Justine, she's been red hot gambling lately. She says cashed in on Nuge anytime goal. That's about the highlight of tonight. Yeah, for me, Liam, I used my chili and I made a chili cheese dog tonight. That's the highlight of my evening as well. Lance says still a cup year. Fact, Rusty echoes that. Cup year. Vinny, at least Dry had 2 goals. Yeah, brother. Halfway points of the season. Leon's at 31 goals so far. We're going to predict his stat line tomorrow, Oilers Nation every day, Liam, so we can unpack that. Kiana, this made me laugh. Is Bordzy the therapist in? Because there's a lot to unpack tonight. There's a lot from that first period. And then, as I said, I'd argue the next 40 minutes, the Oilers were the better team, but they dug themselves a hole. Scotty91 says brutal first period performance doomed the game. As you can tell, I'm joined this evening by the man, the myth, the legend, Liam Horrobin. Liam, it just, like, that first period was brutal. Putrid effort, like I'd mentioned, from the Oil. But the rest of the game just felt like one of those nights where you weren't going to be able to buy a goal. Alex Nedeljkovic stood on his head. He owned Evan Bouchard specifically throughout this game. Chance after chance, shot after shot. I think the Oilers in the third period, just looking, they had 16 shots. In the second period, they had 20 shots. I repeat, Evan Bouchard had 11 of those. Leon had 7. Liam, initial thoughts from that game. Doomed from the first period, like I kind of said.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you just can't put yourself in a 5-1 hole. 3-0 hole is hard enough. Never mind 5-1. So just one of those things, I suppose. Every now and then, good teams are going to lose badly. As I think that flag is just a sign of what tonight was. Just right off the bat, just falling apart. But I just want to put something out there to explain why I hate high danger chances for and against. According to Natural Stat Trick, who is a great source, I use them daily. The Oilers had 0 high danger chances for in that third period. Believe it or not, Aaron, 0. According to Natural Stat Trick, 0. Despite Nedeljkovic, Robin Draisaitl, and Marcus Pettersson firing one off the goal line, there was 0 high danger chances for the Oilers in the third period.
I will never understand those stats. Who's recording those stats? I feel like a ton of those were high danger, but then a number of them, I guess you could say, from distance, and Evan Bouchard specifically. That was a great description from you from that flag. I've been doing this show for probably like 300 of these now. I mean, not all of them from here. That's never happened before. Never. This evening was cursed from the beginning. And I blame Darth Vader specifically throughout this one. As I mentioned, Star Wars night down at PPG Paints. Before we also unpack the game, Liam, Pittsburgh crowd, what was going on this evening with them? They were booing absolutely everything. They were chanting "Ref, you suck" minutes after they had killed off a penalty already killed off. The Star Wars energy was in the air tonight, specifically down there. Very weird one. I saw a guy on Reddit say, we got to remember that Pittsburgh's just down the road from Philadelphia, and that, Philadelphia sports fans in the same, but whatever. Let's unpack it. It starts not well for the Edmonton Oilers. We talked on pregame and kind of cursed it. My bad. The Oilers had scored first in 11 of their last 14 games. Well, didn't go that way tonight. They don't get the first one. They don't get the second one. And they, in fact, don't even get the third one. It felt like you blinked 10 minutes into the game. They were down 3 goals. And it was, Liam, turnovers, giveaways, sloppy play in their own end and in front of their goaltender. The Kevin Hayes goal, dude, was wide open, untouched, alone, literally 3 feet from the blue paint right in front of the net. But same point to start that one. The Penguins, they had lost 4 in a row, 3 in overtime in shootout, their last 3. They came out hungrier. I always joke, the hungry dog runs faster. To start this one, that was the case. They were winning every single battle, every loose puck. They came out firing. Thoughts on that first period, as I mentioned, down 3-0, not even 10 minutes into the game. That's tough to climb back out of for anyone.
Yeah, totally. And I think, too, just the idea of the Penguins have lost 4 straight coming into the game. Like, you probably know you're going to get a little push early in the period. Like, that's when the Oilers need to come out and have a good start. And to be fair to them, they actually had a really good opening shift. There's the second line, I think it was, and maybe a couple of lines, whoever it was. They put together a good couple of minutes, and then once Pittsburgh got their first goal, they just seemed to be able to pounce. And in that first period, it was just like every time they got in the offensive zone, which was most of the time, to be fair, they just seemed to get a really good opportunity off. And Skinner, obviously not his best night, but did make a couple of saves. And I think it really could have been like 5-6 in the first period, to be fair.
Dude, immediately I was like, why didn't I bet the over? We're more than halfway there after 20 minutes in this thing. But initially, and this all kind of sticks just to the first period, like I said, but the Oilers were brutal in their own end, man. Poor decisions, bad coverage, missed assignments like that Hayes one I mentioned. It was all bad. And how many pucks can you put on the tape of the opposition in your own end? And it wasn't just one guy. It wasn't 2 guys. Felt like it was literally everybody. Leo Draisaitl's included. Ty Emerson's included all throughout that lineup. Awareness on 0 in their own end to start that one. And just a tough effort, which then look at Stuart Skinner's stats this evening. You're not going to be thrilled. 21 of 26 for an .808 save percentage. The man finally claws his way to get above 900 save percentage, and it's gone. As it's now, I don't know what it's going to be at, but it's not going to be good. It's gone before you even know it. As he said, he made 21 on 26, but some of those goals, I felt bad for Stu. Some of them, I felt like he did need to have them. The first one, he makes the initial first save from the point, right? And then immediately the rebound is pounced on. I think it was Kulak or Emerson. Can't remember. Doesn't get their guy. The second one, beaten cleanly by Ryan Rust. The save that I think Stu wants back and the team wants back in general. Third one, Kevin Hayes right in front of the net. Again, what do you want Stuart Skinner to do there? Defensive awareness on 0. The stat line looks very, very ugly for Stuart Skinner. I do think some of it deserved, some of it a result of the team in front of him. Your thoughts on Stuart Skinner's performance tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I thought it was both, like you said. He could add 1 or 2 maybe. The defense gave up 1 or 2. Like, it was just a collective bad effort overall. It just we're basically just talking about the first period, to be honest. Like, in general, the rest of the game was fine because the Oilers were just doing whatever they could to keep the puck out of their own zone and just try and claw their way back into the game. But yeah, you can't sit here and defend Stu, but I'm not going to sit here and criticize him for the loss. It certainly was not his fault by any means.
It's that's a team loss. I think the team's wearing that one. As I said, Penguins were winning every single battle, but you're right. That was just the first 20 minutes. Let's get positive here. because we get to the second period. Nobby, the classic, break glass in case of emergency. Go supernova, puts out Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman. Liam, I saw a tweet from you that you said you did not agree with that choice. I think it was because you said you thought that McDavid and Dry are more dangerous separately, which, to be honest, I do totally get your thought process there. It's just, for me, the break glass in case of an emergency. That was an emergency in that point. I mean, it does work. McDavid, very funnily enough, right? He tries the one-timer to Leon and doesn't work. Seconds later, says, no, I'm going to try that again. Boom. They get kind of back in the game. But thoughts on Nobby's decision to go supernova with 40 minutes still left in the hockey game? I mean, it did work, but I was curious by your tweet.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily about that. I don't think it's a bad idea to put the three of them together by any means in like many situations. They're obviously an amazing trio who can crawl you back into games on any occasion. They almost did it tonight single-handedly. But and I think a lot of people would agree, it just kind of feels they're the only guys that play once that happens. Like the rest of the line, it just kind of dies around it, and it sucks. And I really do believe that you just bump Hyman up to the first line, play that trio of Nuge, Hyman, and McDavid more, and then you just send out the other line of Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson, and then between them, just get one of your third or fourth lines just to rotate and go at it. You know, the Oilers have a ton of skill, and I think they need to believe in it more at times. Like Kasperi Kapanen and Jeff Skinner tonight both played like I think less than 10 minutes overall, and it's like those guys actually do show up in moments. Like Skinner is on a 3-game point streak. Kasperi Kapanen had that goal in the Florida game when you gave him the opportunity next to Draisaitl later in the game. So I think the Oilers are way better. And in the third period, with like, hey, just going into the third period in general, I totally get it. Like you're attacking and you need to get back in, but like they did it after the third goal. It's like, okay, I get it. You're down 3, but there's still like 45 minutes to go.
My thought was like, wow, it's a little bit early to be going this supernova, but I guess Nobby, he's got a good pulse of the team. But for me, you mentioned it there, that Oilers second line of Leon Draisaitl, Vasily Podkolzin, and Arvidsson, they've been tearing it up all season long. They're arguably a first line on their own. And then you go Nuge, McDavid, Hyman. You can roll those guys because, as you mentioned, I looked, Jeff Skinner played a whopping 8-16 this evening.
Yeah.
Didn't really notice him at one point. We on pre-gaming were talking about that third line and some of the chemistry they'd shown lately. And before I even knew it, they weren't playing together, and Skinner was buried on that third line. I did mention the other goaltender there this evening, Alex Nedeljkovic. We'll talk about this, then we'll go through the scoring summary. That was a pretty damn good performance from the Pittsburgh netminder.
Yeah.
Game of the season maybe for him so far. He came in, terrible numbers against the Oilers in his career, .884 save percentage, very high goals against, and he was unreal tonight, dude. He made a number of big saves. I mentioned the ones on Bouchard, all 11 of them this evening. He had Leon Draisaitl stick on helmet, looking skyward, looking just speechless. He didn't know what to say, didn't know what was going on, because Nedeljkovic was awesome and was a huge reason in this game why the Pens ended up winning and could hold off the Edmonton Oilers. Because as we said, the offense was all over the place. 20 shots in the second, 16 in the third period, but this dude stood tall, and it's only one game, but I guess you could say he made more big saves than Stuart Skinner did in the game, but like, I don't know, it's a tough comparison, but I think that's fair. Thoughts on Alex Nedeljkovic's 39 saves on 42 shots I'm seeing, 929 save percentage. Pretty good. Wasn't expecting that one, Liam.
Yeah, he played a really good game, to be fair to him, especially in the second and third period. I don't think the others tested him enough in the first, which maybe allowed him to get more comfortable and set in there, but yeah, credit to him. Only his 6th game in the last like 5 weeks or so. So yeah, for a backup goalie to come in and do a job that he did is awesome. Obviously, Nedeljkovic, I don't think he's the goalie that he was when he started in the NHL. What was he, like a 25-year-old rookie or something like that? But he's okay. He'll have his nights.
29 years old. I'm going to say, without even checking the rest of his stats this year, that's probably the best game of his season against the best opponent, I'm sure. But let's unpack this one. It's a jam-packed scoring summary, and it's brought to you by Greta Bar Yeg, my favorite spot in the entire city. Great for pregame, great for post game, great on weekdays, excellent on weekends. Trust me, we're going to be there a couple times in, I believe, the month of February. Keep it locked on our Oilers Nation socials. We got some parties upcoming. They're going to be an absolute blast. You can take my word on that one. All right. Take a breath. Let's start it off here because it doesn't start good. 1-0 Penguins, 3:19 into the game. I told you my player to watch on pre-gaming was Rickard Rakell, and damn it, he scored almost instantly into this one. Kasperi Kapanen gave that puck away in the neutral zone. Crosby takes it in, creates a point shot up there at the blue line. I think it was Pettersson. Skinner makes that initial save. Brian Rust is all up in Stu's kitchen, but Rickard Rakell is there to bury his 21st goal this season. Damn good numbers. Second in points for these Penguins. Tough one for Stu here. I can't see which. Was that Bouchard? Yeah, it might have been Bouchard there who kind of allows him to sneak in. Not Bouchard's greatest game, but hey, when is it ever? Liam, thoughts here? Tough way to start a hockey game 3 minutes in.
Yeah, not the way you want to start again against a team that is on a 4-game losing streak. You want to kind of take the life out of them early, and the Oilers certainly did not.
No, they did not, because 4 minutes later, roughly 4 minutes, 3 seconds, quick math, shout out that. Oilers lose possession in their own end off the face-off right there. Sidney Crosby, he pounces on it. Gives it to Pettersson, and he sets up a Brian Rust in the slot, and he buries that one. Nice shot on Stuart Skinner, but this is one of those where I said, I think Stu gonna want this one back. We'll talk about Sidney Crosby later, but that guy was all over the ice tonight, 37 years young. Good snipe here from Brian Rust, but as I said, I think Stu wants that back.
Yeah, a little bit of screened in front, but I feel like there wasn't too much traffic, and the shot was fairly predictable where it was going to come from, I suppose. And it kind of just teed up the period, didn't it, of how the rest of it was going to go.
Yeah, because it gets even worse here. 2 more minutes later, 3-0 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this is the one I said that just frustrated me. As you see, Brett Kulak, it's the classic, you reach, I teach. Kulak, and it's a split-second decision. You know I love my boy, Liam. I hope your dad's not giving Brett Kulak too hard of a time, but you see it here. Pounces for the reach, and then I forget who passed him that puck. Oh, O'Connor, Drew O'Connor. I mean, hey, that's good patience. Waits for the perfect moment, dishes it out front to Kevin Hayes, and he beats Stuart Skinner. How many shots are on the game at this point? How many can we see?
That was 8.
That was their 8th shot. They had 3 goals on 8 shots. Not even 10 minutes in, Liam, but that one's a backbreaker. Feel bad for Stu. You saw at the end there, they cut to Calvin Pickard thinking, okay, is it not Stu's night? Is he going to get yanked? But I'd argue Calvin Pickard ain't stopping that one. You left Kevin Hayes wide open in front of the blue paint.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of put any NHLer in that position, you'd probably give the benefit of the doubt to the shooter, right? And you can see both forwards kind of lunging in to try and react to it, but like maybe Kulak shouldn't have stepped up there. Like I don't know the full positioning breakdown on it, but I suppose Skinner could have been more in the middle of the ice to help support it, but then the defenseman comes from the top, then Skinner should have been higher. So who knows? It's just kind of one of those plays where a couple of guys are left in no man's land, and Kevin Hayes, who again not having a great season, but is a guy who's scored a lot of goals in the NHL. You can't leave him wide open.
Split-second decision, and like we said, kind of the theme this evening. Wasn't just one guy, wasn't 2 guys. Kind of felt like a team.
Yeah.
That really let it slip in that first period. So then it's 3-0. Well, they get a little bit of life as our boy Leon Draisaitl scores at this point his 30th of the season as the Penguins go down one way, and then our boy ZMH Zachary Martin Hyman head down all the way. He's set to go on the breakaway. What a stop from the Delkovich. And then I got to give Leon Draisaitl credit here. That looks like such a casual, easy, wide open net goal to score, but to corral that puck and get solid wood on it and make it look as clean and casual as he does right here, just stops in, just taps that little thing in and goes, and he's like, oh, what? Another one for me leading the league?
Yeah.
I'll let you know a secret. He added another one later, but when you're feeling it, you're feeling it, and Leon Draisaitl continues at that point his 30th goal this season. Leon, doesn't matter who the goalie is, Liam, they can't stop Leon.
No, and this is like pretty underrated goal, to be honest. I feel like a lot of guys would have not panicked, but just immediately gone high on that. And Leon kind of reads it as like, maybe the goalie's thinking I'm going high, and just puts it nice and low. But if you see the score bug there, it's 7 minutes 37 seconds, and I believe this was either the first or second shift that this trio went together. And for me, again, I just think that's a bit too early. I know they scored, and like maybe you see out this period and allow it to happen, but I just think you got to keep guys going in certain points. Skinner and oh my goodness, Kasperi Kapanen. There's a lot of K's in that name, and P's is a guy you can play and give him starts. But either way, like, this trio is amazing, and this was a great goal.
Yeah, it's what they gonna do. Like, I love how casual Leon looks right here.
I know.
Comes to a complete stop, doesn't celebrate. Just a couple fist bumps. Okay, get back in the game. That's only one, because then we're still in the first period, people. Drew O'Connor scores his 6th of the season, and you'll see it. Brian Rust going to work. This is a Leon Draisaitl-esque backhand sauce up in the air, puts it right on the tape of Drew O'Connor. And this is another where I said, Stu's just kind of beaten cleanly. Good shot. Give him credit. I mean, he's coming down the wing with that much speed. Nasty pass. That was a thing of beauty. Screen in front, obviously. Felt like anytime you saw danger on the ice, 87 was around it. Whether it was forcing turnovers, scoring goals, doesn't matter. But backbreaker here. You go back down 3 goals. I was thinking about live betting the comeback down 3-1. Then I was very happy I didn't, because this happened. I will be honest. I bet it before the 3rd period. Didn't happen, but that was the end, the final goal to a wild first period lead.
Yeah, I bet they'll come back at this point either way. I also did a couple other things in the intermission that may or may not have worked. I wanted to point something out here, and this is not a criticism towards the player, but like the coaching staff. So this started in the offensive zone, and Josh Brown fired a puck directly into the defenseman or forward, whatever it was. And I actually don't think it was necessarily like the worst shot selection in the world. But the point is like, we're down 3-1. You just scored like a minute before, less than a minute. Like, I just don't think Josh Brown's the guy you want to put out there. And you can talk about like whoever was out before. Like, I honestly think Emerson or Kulak would have been a far better decision to put out there instead. And again, it's not about, I don't think Josh Brown is. I need someone with instincts, and you've got the big guys out there, and it shouldn't be Josh Brown taking shifts with them. I'm sorry, it shouldn't be.
Right. It just kind of feels like in that situation, literally anybody else. The other 5 defensemen in that point, I'd probably be cool with. Josh Brown, I said he was fine in the other game against Boston. I did not think that as in this one. Actually, looking through, how much did Josh Brown even play?
He played
10-02.
Yeah,
10-02
and
on the evening.
I'm not blaming that goal on
No,
Josh Brown. Let's
no,
make that very clear. And I don't even think he played that bad tonight. But the decision to go out there and play him in that shift in particular just seemed like a bit of a weird one to me.
Yeah, he's not a guy known for, I mean, if you're going to put out the offensive talent of those dudes, you kind of want to support them with other guys. McKinnon gets Makar. Josh Brown, maybe not the play there, but Nobby, we love you. We trust you. We do, as you say. Going into the second period, it's Sidney Crosby, because of course it is. He had a big night tonight. Michael Bunting, you'll see this one gets ripped off the backboards, comes out right out front to Michael Bunting, who, great play, great fake shot, pass, right on the tape of Sidney Crosby, right at the side of the net of Stuart Skinner there. He easily puts this one home. You can see Sid's reaction. Big shouts out to Bunting here for that play. Bunting later, absolute rat that guy is when he was in the penalty box. But Liam, I mean, Penguins are on power play here. The one thing I had said on pre-gaming, this team does have the 5th ranked power play in the NHL. They can score goals if you give them the man advantage. And of course, who else but Sidney Crosby?
They must have some very frustrating nights where everything's going well and then they just can't keep the puck out of the net. I would imagine that is happening more often than not, because like we said on pre-gaming, like, they do have a lot of talent of guys who can score goals, but their blue line is rather weak, you know?
Yeah, no, it's not good at all when you look at that back end. Definitely not a Stanley Cup contending one. Then we get a little bit of life, but of course it wasn't enough. Leon Draisaitl scores his 31st of the season. It's the Supernova line out there on the ice again. I mentioned Connor tried the one-timer seconds before this. It did not work. Gets the puck back. Pretty much twin images of each other. If at first you don't succeed, you try again. And Leon Draisaitl, he's able to beat Nedeljkovic from very far out compared to where Dry usually is located in his office. He's right on the face-off dot right there. I think probably one Nedeljkovic wants back, but as I said earlier, no goaltender can stop Leon Draisaitl in the pace that he has been on lately. Oilers, you feel good. You're getting some life. Wasn't enough, but Liam Dry, it's in his office right here. This one, I believe, right? This is 5v5. So it's not a power play goal by any means, but it's in his office.
Yeah, like he knows he can score from there. Obviously, from look where he's shooting from, he's clearly feeling fairly confident in himself at the moment. And you know, I think if you look at the positioning of Nedeljkovic on this goal and also Skinner on Crosby's goal, like you have to respect the passer so much that you kind of have to freeze yourself a little bit. It takes you an extra second to get across. And I mean, Nedeljkovic probably isn't very happy that he allowed that goal, to be honest. But again, you're dealing with one of the most lethal shooter in the NHL, according to goals.
According to my eyes, according to stats, which are facts that we have confirmed before on our programs. Then finally, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scores his 11th goal of the season. It's a power play goal assisted by Bouchard and McDavid. I laughed pretty hard at this as I was watching. I'm getting frustrated. I had the McDavid shot prop bet. Spoiler, he missed by one, and I just want him to shoot the puck. He's not doing it. And then he's dangling, slicing, and dicing through the team. Seconds later, puts this one on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins tape, and then I go, oh, that's right. 97, you do know what you're doing out there. Great shot of the fam. We saw them all as Connor will be getting his jersey retired in Erie. I believe that was tomorrow. Yep. But great shot from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, dude. He's been on fire recently, looking very, very good, looking way more willing to shoot the puck. And I believe he now has 5 goals in his last 7 games. Too little, too late here, but I love seeing Nuge pad the stats. That's 11 goals halfway through the year. Mathematician, he's on pace for 22 this season. Couple better than last year when he scored 18.
Yeah, he seems to be found himself a little bit, right? And it's funny, like Nuge, I just don't have any expectations for, and I don't mean that in like a negative manner. I just know he's going to show up for this team pretty much the entire season. And obviously, like, he's going to go through droughts and cold spouts, and I know he's a first overall pick, but he's just not one of those first overall picks. But it's such a really good goal just to kind of freeze the goalie initially and then still get your vintage wrister off.
And it's right. Nuge can do so much. The jack of all trades, maybe not master none, master of some, I will say, but he can do so much so that the reason I feel we're so confident in him is if one area of his game isn't rolling at that point, well, you can bet your ass that 2 or 3 others are rolling because he's just so multifaceted. He is literally a Swiss Army knife. That does it for the Greta scoring summary as the Oilers lose 5-3 to those Pittsburgh Penguins. Stu, 21 of 26 for an 808. Nedeljkovic, 39 of 42 for a 929. Let's go now to the good, the bad, and the oily. Brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Come on, people. No better thing to do than eat your feelings away throughout this game, or after this game, I should say. They do delivery. They do pick up. They also got some sick-ass Oilersnation stickers in every single one of their Edmonton locations, I will say. Not many in Flames Nation land. You can imagine what they have there. Shouts out to Oodle Noodle. We love you very much for the good, the bad, and the oily. Patrick, hit it for me, brother. The good this evening, quite obviously, is our boy Leon Draisaitl. He scores his 30th and 31st goals of the season at exactly the halfway point of the season, meaning he's on pace for 62 goals this year. And I mean, we talked about it, the first one. Some might call that an easy goal. I think that is the most underrated, skilled goal to be able to do that one. And then he can do it all many different ways. Scores from distance on the power play there. Just classic McDry coming at you. You know where the shot's coming from. There's literally nothing you can do about it, much like an Ovi, like a Stamkos. Liam, I did place my Leon plus 550 Hart Trophy bet. I was staring at it when we were doing pre-gaming today. I did place. I already feel good about my investment as I got another 2 goals. But Leon Draisaitl, what can't you say at this point? We've said it all. He's amazing.
He's the best player in the NHL. And he won't be voted that way for the Hart, I don't think, unfortunately, like we decided. But I really hope you get some good money on the early cash out. So
I'm all for the ride. I'm about the ride. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Totally agree.
Betting
yeah,
is never about the journey. It should only be about the
That's a lot of money, baby. Yeah, I thought he played pretty well after the Oilers were down 3-0. He seemed to figure it out like everybody else did, and it kind of is what it is. It was just one of those nights we were sat before the game thinking like, well, there's only really one person, and it was Leon Draisaitl.
It's always Leon Draisaitl this season, I will say. Connor McDavid, great night, but Leon just keeps scoring goals, brother. With the good comes the bad, and we went with the first period. I think this might be the most obvious bad that we've had all season long. Yet get outscored 4-1. The game's feeling over before it's literally even started. Not literally. That's an exaggeration. Hyperbole, Bordzy. But the shots were 13-7 in that one as well. And it was just the fact that they were losing every single battle. Those first 10 minutes of that period felt like the Oilers didn't want to be there. They weren't competing hard, just not hungry enough. And we'd mentioned Pittsburgh having lost 4 straight in a row. They are currently tied for the last wild card spot, so they need their points as much as they can. And I feel like Pittsburgh, much like last year, is going to be scratching and clawing all season long, but they got the job done in the first period. And from that point on, sure, they got outplayed for the next 40 minutes by the Edmonton Oilers, but because they had put their foot on the pedal to the metal in the first 20, it didn't really matter as much, and they were able to play with that lead all game long. Liam, the bad tonight is the first period. I was thinking about putting Stuart Skinner in here, but then I went, no, I'm not totally no. It's a team effort, so that includes everybody on the ice in the first period. Cop out.
Yeah, I don't think this is on one player. I think they all played bad until they were down 3-0 again. It just kind of is what it is. A few people in here saying they're bad is not calling a timeout after the third goal, and I think Louis and Jack made a good call out on the broadcast saying like the 10-minute timeout is so close, like you kind of don't want to waste it there in a way. And if you allow a fourth at that point, you're already in a hole anyway. So what does it matter so much, right? But yeah, the first period sucked, and the others had no choice but to try and fight back in the second and third and what was left of the first period, I suppose. And they did well enough to do that and exhausted themselves to a crazy extent that Draisaitl almost played 30 minutes, which sucks. But now, like you said, kind of before they get to go and hang out in Erie, Pennsylvania tomorrow, like every NHLer dreams of. I wonder if they'll all go. Do you think they'll all go? I would imagine.
I would imagine so. I mean, he's your leader. He's your captain. He's the GOAT.
Yeah,
like, you got to. And I'm sure you make it a boys' night for the whole team. They'll have some beers.
Yeah, like Knobloch and Brown are going at least. Leon, I would imagine the majority of them go. I'm curious, and I haven't looked at the schedule, like how many former teammates go from Erie. Like, I wonder if like Dylan Strome is able to go, DeBrincat, guys like that. Like, I don't know. I really would have to look at the schedule and find out.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see that. It'll be a cool moment for the Oilers captain and the Erie Otters legend. Then finally, the Oilie we went with. I mean, it's tough. You guys can throw in recommendations if you got them. We went with the Nedeljkovic. He made a number of big saves, and even more so, it kind of gets swept under the rug because Leon scores immediately afterwards. Yeah. That save he made on Zach Hyman's breakaway as he just stacks the pads, sprawls out, flips the stick over and whatnot. That was pretty incredible. That was a pretty solid move from him there. He was awesome throughout it. We've kind of already touched on it all, but the Oilie, the difference maker kind of in this one as it went along. As we said, the Oilers, 36 shots in the final 2 frames of that game. The difference kind of was Nedeljkovic as he made big stop after big stop, and 11 of them specifically on Evan Bouchard. That could be Oilie as well. Shout out to the boy for getting 11 shots on goal and not getting all of them blocked before they got in there. But yeah, the Oilie, we're going to Nedeljkovic. Liam, you got anything else on this guy? Because we've already kind of touched on it.
I've got one Oilie for you, which I just found out. The fact that Evan Bouchard was somehow +1 tonight. That's kind of funny.
Whoa.
Like, we know he was on the ice for the first goal against. We saw it. And Ekholm also +1, Draisaitl +1. No only Nugent Hopkins, Nurse and Kulak were -2. Which in a 5-3 loss where one line scored all three of the goals for the Oilers. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was a little crazy. Nothing crazier than your high danger thing that you told me earlier. That
Stupid.
blows my mind. That makes either way. I digress. Let's go now to our boom and our doom performers of the evening, brought to you by Odd Company, Nation Beer, Everyday Lager, perfect for game day, perfect for every damn day, perfect after a game like that. If you endured that and had to watch it, saw a lot of people online doing the classic, turning the TV off, not watching the rest of this one. You damn well know those people are all checking their phone, being like, "Oh, one goal? They got another 5-3. There's no way you didn't have your TV back on for the final 20 minutes of that one." Throw in your booms, throw in your dooms if you've got them. Liam, you are my guest today. So if you had to give a boom to an Edmonton Oiler this evening, who do you think you'd give it to?
I mean, I guess there's only one guy to give it to, isn't it? It's just Leon, I suppose, is the boom of the day. I think that's probably if I'm on McDavid, if you want to go that way, but there wasn't really anyone I thought that played like exceptionally well outside of Leon and McDavid. That's kind of it.
Boom. Yeah, Bosch is in. He says, boom, Leo, easy, Leon. Yeah, everybody's loving the Leon. If I had to pick somebody, like obviously Connor McDavid, you get 3 apples. He was all over the ice today. The only booms really out there were that top line, and
the only ones that played.
Yeah, I know, exactly right. And I might give a boom to Evan Bouchard. I think I might. It's always the give and take with Evan Bouchard. Man, where was it? There was one play. I believe I wrote it down in here earlier. Oh, yes. It was the play on Sidney Crosby. It was the thing that he did to Sidney Crosby. Shout out, Bouch, for finally showing some emotion. Evan Goonshard was something that I saw being posted online as well. On Sidney Crosby, of all people, Bouch arguably tripped him right before. Felt like it was a missed call from the officials. Then he knocks him over. Then he starts kicking at the puck, and it just kind of looks like he's kicking Sidney Crosby, pushes him down on the ice, kind of gives him a shot. And then this is the most Bouch thing ever, right? Gets the puck, and you're like, damn, dude, great play. I shit you not. 4 seconds later, he turns that thing over in his own end, and it's a chance against Stuart Skinner. And I'm just sitting there like, it's the roller coaster, baby. It's my favorite roller coaster on this team. It's all over the place. So, I mean, that you get. I mean, you get 11 shots through. We've been bitching all season long about how many shots that Bouchard gets blocked. We got 11 through tonight, so I'm pretty happy about that. Liam, do you have any dooms? Do you have any dooms from the Edmonton Oilers?
Do I have any dooms? Let me get a little close to my camera as I think about this. Look how tired I am.
Come in here a little
bit. No wonder everyone thinks I always look so high. Those eyes are bloodshot. I'm not high. I'm in terrible
Everybody
pain.
does always say that, and I'm like, he's not a weak guy.
I don't smoke and I barely drink. I'm as sober as a judge.
That's one half of the show.
Yeah. My doom, like I don't know. Obviously, it's like the start was not good, but I guess to go in a different direction, I didn't love some of the decisions the coaching staff was making. I am a big believer in Corey's in. I'm done with Skinner. Trade him. How could Stuart Skinner or Jeff do this to us tonight? Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. It's been one game. He's been like one of the best goalies in the league for a month and a half. Come on, Corey. Believe. Don't stop believing. My doom is I just think like the coaching decisions I don't like. Again, I love Knobloch and generally he's like really solid with his decisions, but I just really think you should keep your lines rolling for more of the game. And sometimes, of course, like offensive zones, get those 3 out there. Get Ekholm and Bouchard on the blue line and get him going. But maybe play the guy who scored like 40 goals in the NHL once in Jeff Skinner. Like Again, Kapanen has done well for you. Like, they have more belief in playing Corey Perry in moments than either of those guys. And I just don't fully understand it on occasion, but most of the time I completely agree with Knobloch and Coffey and whoever else is making decisions on that bench.
Yeah, I guess there's another aspect of this, right? Jeff Skinner been hot recently, 3 points in his last 3 games. And then this is a game you're down 3 goals after the first period. He's been playing good lately, finally seeing that confidence that Nobby has specifically been asking to see in him. And then he ends up playing 8 minutes on the evening. So it kind of just feels like getting them all hopped up, hyped up, ready to go. And you're like, no, just sit your ass back down, actually, and we're not actually going to do anything. Connor, Leon, hop over again. But once again, who gives you your best chance to win? It is 97-29. Just a tough balance. And Liam, that's why Nobby coaches the team, and we do not, in fact, coach the team. Also, Corey, yes, he said, I'm done with Skinner. Trade him. I'd like to remind you, coming into this game, Stu, in his last 13, 10-2-1, 201 goals against average with a 928 save percentage. So I'm just going to take this off the screen, Corey, and if you want to delete that, you can delete that if you'd like to. But throw down your courtesy like before you do that, because we appreciate all of you. Did I see any more Doom depth? And the tough part is recently it seems like the Oilers' depth had been kind of shining through a little bit. The last game against the Bruins, Rico had a strong game with 2 goals. Barely noticed him this evening. I barely noticed this evening.
Who?
Jesse Puljujärvi. I forgot Jesse Puljujärvi. It was the third period, and I went, oh, yeah, that's right. Pool party's out there. He played a total of 10:06, 4 more seconds than Josh Brown did on the evening. Let's go now. Let's take a peek. Let's talk some bets, courtesy of our friends from Bet365. We'll check in on Bordzy's Bankroll. It's brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of ONAD. Open an account today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today and use the code NATION, NATION. Everybody's favorite part comes up when Pat throws big fat red X's probably over all of these. So the first one, the most frustrating one of them all, a million chances. Connor played 26-55, and he finished with 3 shots on goal. So that one gets a big fat red X, obviously, over that. Your second one, oh, nice. We're not red Xing. This is the best. This is the best. Second option, McDavid 2+ points. That one was an even +100. That one cashes with some room to spare, as he actually ended up having 3 apples on the evening. And then my worst bet, my worst pick by far of the evening, him thought the Oilers would win by 2. They, in fact, lose by 2. I missed this by a total of 4 goals. That's how bad of a pick this one was this evening. We talked about it. Oil 7-0 against the Penguins in their last 7. Had a goal differential of 36-9. Damn it. I saw he was doing stuff down there. I knew that was going to come out in some way. Shout out, Pat. Thank you very much. And that one I was way off with. Liam, did Victor Arvidsson get a point?
No.
Okay.
Fantilli did, though. I bet on Fantilli. Baranov got a point. The other Russian guy, Kirill Marchenko, got a point. I would love the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight.
There you go. We do
and
love
and I also, sorry, I don't know if I said this on the show. I just pregame, before this show, not pregame. I live bet Oilers +2.5 going into the second period. So I was sweating out that empty net. So I had that one too.
Yeah, that's right. You did tell me you did that. Well, shout out to you, Liam. Shout out to Bet365. Shout out to anybody if they made any money on an evening like this. Tough one. Bordzy's Bankroll been going a little cold. December, we were red hot. We're going a little bit cold here, but transparency. Come on, people. You know we're going to find our way back through this one. Final thing I just want to talk about. First, let me pull a plug here for the Nation Vacation. Coming up March 30th to April 2nd. We're going to Viva Las Vegas, baby. Visit nationgear.ca for more details. This will be Oilers taking on the Golden Knights for their final meeting this season. Pacific Division could be on the line. You're going to want to be in the building in T-Mobile Arena with us. We're going bougie style too. We're watching from the Stella Artois Lounge. We're going to be staying on Fremont Street at Stadium Swim. Very excited for this one. Should be a little warm out there too as well. Nice little kickoff before we start getting spring and summer here in Edmonton. Escape away. Go check out nationgear.ca because we've got flight options. We've got non-flight options as well. If you want to use airline points, or maybe you don't live in Edmonton, you want to find your own way to get down there and party with the crew, well, we got you covered. So check it out, nationgear.ca. Other thing was, Sidney Crosby is still damn good at hockey out there, man. 37 years young, point per game player coming into this one. I think it was 44 in 42 games. Has a huge night tonight, obviously. And it's seriously like, we know what he can do offensively, right? On the evening, 1 goal, 2 assists. But I kind of mentioned earlier, felt like every time the Oilers were turning the puck over or giving it away or something bad happened, 87 was around it the vast majority of the time. He's still got it. He's so good at literally everything. Can score goals like he did tonight. Can be a playmaker. Can be that play driver. He wins battles. Amazing at faceoffs. Isn't he now like the all-time king in the dots? That was a clinic from one of the game's greats tonight from 87, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, didn't he move into 9th all time on the points list or something like that too? And
Yes,
tying Joe Sakic, or might have passed him. I'm not 100% sure. One of the two. He's right there. Yeah, he's one of the best ever. And some guys just have it, don't they? And it's just like, there's not a lot to say that we don't already know. He's just an incredible player, and sometimes you do just kind of admire them a little bit when you watch them. And I love watching it when the Oilers play kind of those legendary guys. Like, I don't think we've played Washington yet, right? No. So I think coming up. That's right. Yeah, we spoke about that. Yeah, it's awesome. He's so good. He's kind of like, you also like kind of wish Malcolm plays in games like this too, just so you can see him a little bit more. Chris Letang definitely does not have it anymore, but he has a lot of excuses as to why he doesn't have it anymore. And it's quite actually remarkable that he's still in the league after his health issues. But yeah, he's Crosby's the best. Is he on your Mount Rushmore?
1,000%. I think, and it's like tough, right? Because we come from the generation. Throw in your Mount Rushmores in the chat. Give me your top 4 NHL GOATs. It's tough, right? Because we weren't alive for that generation of stuff, but I'm not an idiot. So what? I think it's Gretzky, Mario, Sid, McDavid would be my 4 if you had to pick for my influential. What about you?
Yeah, I mean McDavid, Crosby, probably Ovi too would be on mine.
Yeah, so no, Mario comes out. Ovi goes in for me. That's a good call, but we keep
actually, I would have I loved Patrick Kane growing up, and just like how incredible of a player he was. Like, the first iconic hockey moment I saw when I moved to Canada was Patrick Kane's overtime Stanley Cup winning goal. So so when I lived here in 07, and before I went back, I watched the 07 draft, and Patrick Kane went first overall that year. And then 3 years later, I hadn't watched hockey for 3 years, came back, and the first thing I see is Patrick Kane scoring the Stanley Cup winning goal. So he's definitely on there. So yeah, Ovi, Patty Kane, Crosby, and McDavid. I mean, Draisaitl probably sneaks his way on there eventually too. Probably, right? I don't know who he takes off. Probably Kane, but either way, if you could have 5, Draisaitl will be on there.
Hey, it's your Mount Rushmore, buddy. Carve whatever faces you want to carve into the side of a mountain. You can go nuts. Finally here, I want to give we'll take a look ahead at the schedule. And it's brought to you by a new partner, Booster Juice, people. Booster Juice is the proud puck partner for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament, upcoming January 23rd to 25th on Lake Mildred. Oilers Nation is powered by Booster Juice. Visit a location to refuel, refresh, and re-energize, or download their new Booster Rewards app to earn, order, and enjoy. Liam, what's your favorite Booster Juice of all Booster Juices? I'm a Strawberry Sunshine guy through and through.
The Funky Monkey is a good one. And Machu Makioka, is that what it's called or something? Machu Monsoon, that's it.
There it is. Throw them in, people. We love Booster Juice.
Yeah.
It's a staple in my life for as long as I can remember. Pat, you can throw it back up again. I got sidetracked.
Sherwood Park. The original one. Right. The original one is in Sherwood Park.
Was that the one down by the Denny's?
No, it's the one by the mall.
The one by me? Or, oh, shit,
I
I've said
didn't
too
wanna-
much. Oh, God
I
damn.
want to dox you.
All right. As we see here, the 4-game roadie comes to an end this Saturday against the Chicago Blackhawks. Could be another early puck drop, end of the roadie, 5 p.m. in Chicago. That one I'll be joined by Sean Panganiban, Pangsy, and Bordzy coming at you Saturday night. Me, Brett, and Pangs. Going to be a good one. And then after that, brother, it's LA, it's Minnie, Colorado, Vancouver, Washington, Vancouver. That's a stretch of tough games. The Oilers just went through a gauntlet in December there when they took on a number of tough teams. We got part 2 of that gauntlet coming up as well. And that will do it for us this evening on Oilers Nation After Dark. After a very, very disappointing result tonight, not over, I should say, but really kicked in the nuts there after the first 20 minutes. It was hard to peel themselves up off the ground. I want to give a big shout out to you, Liam, Patrick Buff, everybody in the chat. Throw down your courtesy like on your way out. And of course, our valued sponsors, Greta Bar Yegg, Oodle Noodle, Odd Company, Bet365, Booster Juice. Come on the nation vacation as well. And tomorrow we'll be live. You can see Liam, myself, Tyler, Oilers Nation every day, 12:01 Mountain Standard Time on the Oilers Nation YouTube. It's going to be Friday. You know what helps you forget about an Edmonton Oilers loss, Liam? Jason Demers, because he gets so sidetracked. Most entertaining of all the guests we have here. So that'll always get you in a Friday mood. I love you all dearly. Throw down your like. Appreciate you all. Talk tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Sleep tight.